Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out ASKA, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is a game that you can currently find on Steam's Early Access program for about 25 bucks or so. I stress Early Access, that means everything that you're about to see is subject to change. So, Idly and I have been playing this for about 3 or 4 hours now, and I'm, for the most part, enjoying it. What you do in this game is that you are going to be creating this little Viking village, starting from nothing. It's got very strong Valheim vibes. Very strong. And it's also fairly hardcore in what we've seen so far. There are no difficulty settings or anything like that. And that's something I really hope the developers add soon, because the game is incredibly hardcore. She's died once, and when you do die, you either have to sacrifice one of your villagers that you've recruited up to this point, or just respawn with a penalty, and you lose stats and you lose all your stuff. So, like, this game doesn't pull any punches when it comes to death, either. So you choose either a male or female character, you can customize them to some limited degree, and each male or female character has different set of stats, starting stats, but from there you gain stats over time as you play. So the more you craft, the more you gather, you'll gain stats that way. So this is where we're at right now with it, and we did have 5 people, but she died, and so now we have 4, because she sacrificed one of our people. And the way building works in this game, you hit B to build, and typically you're going to either craft something or build it. And this game operates on a blueprint system, in the sense that you put the blueprint down, and then you add materials to it over time, and eventually you'll build it. For example, this farm. Did you already assign a farm yet, hun?
I did not, unfortunately.
All right. Should we put that somewhere in the middle there? Like
Yeah,
this?
go for it.
All right.
Anywhere you want.
All right, so I'm going to rotate that this way. And these are like all prefabs, so like there's no like designing anything. And once it's down, you're typically going to level it off. What's cool about this game is that the game will automatically switch your tool out for you. So if you're trying to chop down a tree, you hold the interact button and it'll pull out your axe. If you're trying to mine something, it'll pull out your pickaxe, and so on. There is durability in this game, and as far as I know, there's no way to repair anything. I've had to recraft my axes several times at this point. But yeah, once you make something called the Eye of Odin, which is this structure here, you can gain something called, I don't know if I have any on me. They're like, what are they called? It's
The
a
blood of
Jotun, yeah, Jotun or something. It's a bright blue ore vein, which I'll see if I can find one while I'm there. There's one down there. You mine that for a bit, and you get little shards. If you put 5 shards into that machine, you spawn a new villager, and you can choose between 2 of them. So that's how you get new villagers in this game. You find those ore veins, you insert 5 shards into the Eye of Odin, and then more villagers will spawn over time, based on who you've picked. You can also build these markers in the environment. Whenever you put down like a gatherer building, there's a certain radius that it's limited to, but you can build more markers at the cost of resources to expand their reach a little bit more. You can construct crafting buildings for them to craft. You can set tasks if you look at it and hit Q or whatever your building keybind is. There's a tasks tab, and then you can add task, and then you can pick from the list. You can assign how much you want to keep as a minimum, and there you go. And what's cool is certain buildings have housing points, like penalties. So there's actually like the game bothered to factor in aesthetics in the sense that you want to keep your houses away from your production buildings because people don't like it. So people in this game actually do have feelings, and you know their morale will go up or down. If they don't like their work hours, you can actually assign work hours in this game. Work, sleep, leisure. I didn't mess with it, but it's a thing. And work anxiety, work hours. Yeah, so there's various things. One thing I don't like about this is that sometimes trying to find what I'm looking for can be incredibly frustrating. There's a lot of different menus to go through. It's just sometimes like being a new player, I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. Um, Another weird thing about this is that there's a lot of misclicks in this game in the sense that left click automatically consumes something. So, like, if you left click to try and put it onto the barbecue fire here, you'll accidentally eat the raw food. I think we've both done that several times at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you cooking this?
I'm finding more fuel.
Okay.
So
I have some sticks on me. I can.
Okay. I hate wasting sticks because you need so many of them for like buildings.
Yeah. So it's very Valheim in the way it plays, very hardcore. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I really like it. It reminds me a little bit of Stranded Alien. Was that Stranded Alien Dawn? In the sense that like that's like RimWorld, and this is kind of like RimWorldy because you have a bunch of villagers and you're sending them with tasks. But you can do stuff yourself too as well. The enemies I think they just can't kind of like came out from left field. It was kind of fun though. Like
It's also frustrating. Like
it is.
the second day we were here, we were attacked by there was a blood moon or something, and skeletons came out. And our buildings are incredibly weak. That's one complaint I do have is that they go down no time flat. Even when they're slightly damaged, they need a lot of materials to repair. So it's like it's hard to make headway in this game because you're constantly repairing. Like it's just I feel like the repair costs are just really high. For such little damage. And your buildings don't really have a whole lot of hit points. Like a couple of hits and they're really damaged to the point where you're pretty much constructing a whole new building at that point. And it's just incredibly frustrating.
I think what we're so used to is always economy first. I think with this type of game, you need at least one guard, like one person to really guard things because of your buildings being so fragile, you know?
There is, unlike some other games like this, there is like a Batman-esque scanner that you can activate and like an X-ray vision kind of thing, and it highlights objects in the environment. That's something I don't think Valheim had, which is nice. Yeah. Another cool thing is the way resources are handled in this game. Like when you chop down a tree, for example, you're going to get multiple resources from it. And I'm trying to find one that I can cut down. These birches, I don't think I need better equipment for that. I'm looking for like a young fir.
There's quite a few of them near the workshop.
There's one here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chop this down. And from that, it'll like split into multiple pieces. You'll get bark, you'll get long sticks, but you could further refine that into short sticks, you know, so like there's... the game is a bit more, I think, advanced that way. It's just not like, oh, this tree gives you this tree gives you this. I've got resin, so yeah, you're just going to get multiple things from a tree here, and you just pick it all up. There is a press button to hold, or to pick up multiple, which is nice. I like that as well. Alright, so we're going to pick up these sticks. And you can only pick up one of these long sticks, though, which is weird. So, like, you're... Like, you can't pick up 4 like you can in Ark Survival Evolved.
Yeah.
So, what do you like about this game? I mean...
I don't know. I like the building. I like the managing of the villagers. I hate the durability of things. Even bones. Like, the bones from skeletons that I harvested, they have durability. So, they're wasting away. You know, and that's kind of unfortunate. It says that you can use them as dog food, which is kind of cool, but I wish I can hold on to them. I wonder if there's like a refrigerator we have to build.
That would be nice. I'm concerned when winter comes, we're just going to get slaughtered because we don't have enough food, and, you know, typically
Probably.
winners in these kinds of games, whether it's Don't Starve, whether it's Valheim... Well, Valheim doesn't have seasons, I don't think.
It doesn't have... Does it have fog?
It has weather, but it doesn't have like consistent like snowy seasons. Bellwright is very light that way, but yeah, there are certain survival games where weather, you know, seasons are incredibly, like Don't Starve is a huge one. Like in the wintertime, you better have food saved up or you're dead, kind of thing. I feel like this is going to be one of those things. We haven't experienced it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. We're also not allowed to review this game at this point, so this is a first impressions. We got our press key. The developer or the publisher was like, it's early access, so no review scores or anything like that. So my first impressions are good. It's just, I think right now it's going to, it appeals to my survival. It gives me that survival itch. It scratches it very well. But my problem with it is, like, I'm more of a casual survival game. Like, I like getting resources. I like having to eat and drink, but I'm more casual in that sense. So it needs difficulty settings, especially. Like, I want to be able to control, how many resources, like the resource multiplier in Ark Survival Evolved. When you punch a tree in Ark, you can set it to where you get like 100 wood right there, just from punching a tree. I'm not saying we need to do that here. I'm just simply saying, like, having a resource multiplier would be cool. Having more durability on our buildings, or better yet, like weaken, like enemy attack strength, we could have it, or, times it by a quarter, that kind of thing, to make them weaker. Because there's no scaling. If you're playing this solo, you're going to have a more difficult time than you will with, say, 6 players, or it's 4 players, I think, max. Because, like, 4 players can do more all at once, whereas a single player can't do that. So, there's no scaling, so there needs to be difficulty sliders in this game so that a solo player can go in here and still have a good experience. I mean, as of right now, like, we're barely holding on our first playthrough here.
Yeah, I like it. I like the challenge. I think the main difficulty I have is the UI settings sometimes. It's really confusing. Whenever I'm changing slots, it won't let me, and I'll accidentally eat something that I really shouldn't eat, and such. So it gets confusing, but I'm really enjoying it. I like the difficulty, the challenge, but like you said, it really does need a difficulty setting for people who are way more casual,
Yeah, and I want to be able to fine-tune my experience, too. Like, some people like it difficult. Others are like, can we just tone it down a little bit? Like, that's what sliders are good for,
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, I don't want to keep this video going on for too long. This is simply a first impressions. Combat, it's there. Bell Rights is awful, I think. That whole directional combat thing is just, I just can't get used to it. This game is more like Valheim in that, and how it handles that. It's just straightforward. Whenever you swing your axe or whatever forward. There's no, like, you don't have to block in this direction or block in that direction. I do like that you can build water wells, and there are these natural springs that keep refreshing water, but you can put wells on top of them so that it generates more and can hold more, so I really like that. I love that you have to build shelters for your people, and I love the building aspect. And I also like the idea of spawning new villagers over time via those Jotun blood shards, whatever. It's just right now the difficulty is a bit off because there are no sliders, and things can be a bit confusing and overwhelming, especially for a new player. That's really my only complaint with this game thus far. I would keep playing it, but I have a feeling at some point it's going to frustrate me, and I may have to start over to do better, if that makes any sense. Or just wait for sliders at that point. So, well, there you go. A quick look at ASKA. Again, first impressions. I may stream this at some point. I don't know when that will be. So, yeah, stay tuned. This is Vincent Idley. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next time. Take care.
Hey, guys.